Welcome to Xtra presented by VDG Sports. I am your host, Vince Douglas Gregory. No filter, very censored. You don't miss something until it's gone, unless you don't realize it's gone. And then when you realize it's gone, you miss it. But then you know that there's never or there's not a chance for this to happen or occur again unless a mistake happened or unless something occurs that's out of the ordinary, out of the norm, because that's just where we are. And that's what led me, and that's what brought me to where I want to go now. That's what led me, and that's what brought me to where I want to go now. There's something that I haven't done in a very, very long time. In fact, I can't recall it within at least the past 10 years. I can go back to 20, and then I can recall and bring up times where it occurred then, and it happened more often than not then, but definitely not now. No chance, not now. And it's not that I don't want to do this. It's not that this isn't something that brings me joy. This isn't something that will make me happy. This isn't something that would make me do all the things that I enjoy doing, and I like to feel good, and the things that I enjoy doing make me feel good. But, why aren't you doing this? Or why haven't this occurred in a little over or somewhere around 20 years? That's just how, let's just say that's how it is. It is what it is. Is Manny being Manny? No judge zone? No judge zone. And that would be cruising, or just driving and getting lost in the system, getting lost in your mind's eye and just mellowing out or whatever. Yeah, I'll just stick with mellowing out. I was going to go with something else, but then I figured mellowing out, I don't think I've ever used that word combination before. I don't think I've used those two words together like that. So there's a first time for everything. There's a first time for mellowing out. So I'm going to use mellowing out. And that's why I said whatever, because I was thinking to myself that maybe I should use something else. Then I said out loud to answer the thinking to myself, to let self know, whatever, we're going with mellow out or mellowing out. Yeah, that's what I'm going with, mellowing out. And it was cruising. It's cruising. And it wasn't like I did this on purpose either. I wanted to do something. I had something planned, but it wasn't a set plan. Meaning, this wasn't something that I thought about months in advance and put in my little notebook, my imaginary notebook, and said, this must be done by X date at this time. No, it wasn't anything like that. It just was on a whim, just spurred of the moment. I had wanted to do something. Okay. But then came the challenge of actually finding where I could actually do this event from or where. And that's where I asked for help. My a trusty assistants, at least 3 of them, and nothing. And then I kind of just started to recall years ago of situation or years ago when I was driving or going somewhere. It's like, wait a minute, I do remember seeing this there. And so I went to the spot, or I went to where I thought where the place was going to be. The place was going to be where I needed to go. And I went there and I looked and I looked and I looked and it wasn't there. it was almost as if I misremembered. It was almost as if that I misremembered the occasion. So now I'm not frantic. Now I'm just kind of thinking even more. And so instead of just going back in the same direction where I came from, I just kind of started going forward because I know the area. I know the area, meaning I know like on a map where I'm at, like directions, and I can just kind of gauge that way. But far as know the area, knowing the stores, knowing the places, knowing all of that, no, because I can't and I couldn't find what I was looking for. Yeah, it's a song, I know, but I didn't mean that. So you got a twofer. I couldn't find what I was looking for. Instead of just going back in the opposite direction and just going and calibrating and just making a plan or formulating something and actually looking at my device or asking for directions or asking for help or calling somebody, this and that, I just said, I'm going to do what I used to do. I'm going to cruise. And so I just kept going. I knew like the direction, north, south, east, west, and all that. And I just kept going this way. And I'll eventually like make a complete circle. Just think like you're looking on a map, and X marks the spot, and X is where you are. And just take your little finger or big finger, just take your finger and just go and just keep going around and make a circle. You can make a circle. You can make a box. You can just do squiggly lines. You can go outside the margin. You can go inside the margin. You can just do whatever. So I did that. I did that in IRL. I did that in IRL without the finger and just in my vehicle because I'm still looking for this place. I still need to do what I need to or set out to do just on a whim because this wasn't planned. If this was planned or if I knew in advance of what I wanted to do or where I wanted to go, I could have just easily got directions, easily got help, and easily could have just found this on a computer, internet, anywhere. It's just that simple. But I took a different route. I wanted to try something. And I'm not going to say new because I've done this before. I just wanted to try something different that I haven't done in a long time, that I forgot how relaxing it was for me and how it just made me feel some kind of way. And you know how I am when I'm inside the G-Rod, I'm singing, I'm dancing, I'm making my chest pop, I'm doing what it do, all of that stuff, except when I'm in discovery mode. If I'm in discovery mode, I'm doing none of that stuff. But here's the catch. I wasn't singing. I wasn't dancing. I wasn't doing what it do. I wasn't in discovery mode. I was just driving. And my mind was just like a sponge. I was driving and I was trying to get a picture and trying to jog my memory or even put stuff into my memory for long-term storage, that is, because I need to be able to link this in the future. I need to be able to go back to this point and be able to utilize this in the future. So it was just me adding input. It was me adding input to my life. So I can, in the future, use this and know where things are and just see from the mind's eye, that is. And that what made it fun. And that's what made it fun. That's what made it intriguing. That's what made it interesting. That's what made me just want to do it some more. And so I just kept driving. I just kept looking. I just kept driving. I just kept looking. I just kept driving. My mind just kept just intaking pictures, just intaking stores, just intaking everything. So possibly that I can come back to this and use it in the future. Go back to the future or back to the past. You pick. You choose. I'm just the narrator. And I gave you multiple options. So I'm doing this. And I did this for about 30 minutes, 40 minutes. I did this for about 30, 40 minutes, just looking for something that I thought that I knew where it was, but it wasn't. And so I'm actually looking and thinking and looking and thinking and intaking and storing. And of course, I eventually just went ahead and went back to the place where I know, as a matter of fact, where I need to, a place I know, as a matter of fact, I should say, I can't even get words out, where the store would be, or the place where I need to go would be. And so I eventually, after the joyride, and that's what I'm going to call it, just for the lack of a better term or better words, because I already gave you mellowing out or mellow out, and nothing can top that. Not today. Not today. Because there ain't no learning. The learning is over. The learning is through. The learning is done. So bird like voice. Yeah, the learning's done. So now I eventually went back to the actual a spot where I could have started with at the beginning, but I just wanted to go to the other place, and I just wanted to get this joyride in, and also help out the memory, the recall sessions, and all the other stuff that I just previously mentioned, all of the other things that I previously mentioned. And it got me to thinking of, I really miss that. I really miss just hopping in my car and just going and just driving and getting lost. Yes, both lost. Getting lost and just learning and just understanding more about the area, or getting more input to the area and how it's changed, or what's new and what's not new, and all of the things that make me feel good in the G ride, other than singing, dancing, making the chest pop, and doing the 2 steps and all that other stuff. And this was something that I did almost every day about 20 plus years ago, or around the 20-year point. This is something that I did almost every single day. And the reason I had to do it then, because I had maps, like maps, kids, things that books are in, things that magazines are in. But instead, when you open it up, it's a map. You have that on your phones now. Now, on your phones, it can give you directions for wherever you need to go. So there's no need for a map per se. And there's no need to ask for help per se. There's no need to do any of the other things if you have a phone, because you can just put all this information in your phone and you'll get an answer pretty quickly. And that's why I mentioned at the beginning that I don't see this happening again unless it's a mistake, or unless I'm just in the mood to just drive and just get lost to get lost, because there's really not a way to get lost when you have a phone, when you have devices, when you have a car that has a GPS system, because it tells you where to go. It tells you what to do. Although if it tells you to go straight and you see nothing straight, don't do it. Those were the rough and wild days in the beginning, kids. Rough and wild days in the beginning. And that was my version of old man yelling at cloud. That was my version of old man yelling at cloud. But there's no way, really, truly, unless you want to, unless you kind of just really not focus and don't care, to get lost with all this information and with all this other stuff that's readily available. And that's why when I was doing it, I was like, well, I haven't done this in so long. Of course, I wasn't talking out loud because there's no one else there. And this was all the intermonologue working. It wasn't broken. So it was definitely working at peak conditions. And those were the settings that I was on. And those were the settings that I was on. That's what I was thinking. And that's what I said. Yeah, that's why this is not going to happen. This is not going to occur again unless I have this occur or happen. This won't happen or occur unless I want it to happen or occur again, with so much information that's out there that would prevent me from getting lost or not finding things. But it was just good. It was just good to do it for old time's sake. It was just good to recall how good it felt, how pleasurable it was, how missing in action it felt like without it being around. And I can happily and gladly and readily admit that I'm not going to be doing this again anytime soon, just because it's just not something that I would like to do on a reg like I did in the past. One, I can find better ways to utilize my time. Two, it's just, I feel it's not beneath me, of course, because I don't get down like that. I don't get down like that. It's it almost felt or feel if I'm going backwards. Sure, there's the old tried and true method that you can always go back to, but what about the new? What about finding a new method, finding a new way to get the same feeling, not necessarily doing the same thing, especially when you want to move forward, you want to grow. And so moving forward and growing personally to me, in my mind, in my eyes, is not going backwards, not going back, doing something that I've done a long ago just to put me in a better spot or just to put me in a better space. I'm not saying that the time won't occur or that I might not think about it or I might not do it, but it's not something that I'm just going to do it like how I used to do it on a regular, because I actually had to, or I was forced to, because there were maps. There wasn't phones with this, or they wasn't available at the time. So you just had to make do, and you knew more. You knew more about the area if you were one of these people like me, and I knew more about my area. But you can also say and do the same thing with your digital map. You can just look at it and you can just plot. You can plan and plot of getting lost. But I like the spontaneity of it. Is that a word? I think so. But my pronunciation is terrible. You're welcome. Thank you for listening. Be sure to check out the website at xtra.vdgsports.com. That is xtra.vdgsports.com. This episode is not being sponsored by VinceDouglasGregory.com. Basically, I got to catch up. That's why I got to catch up. VinceDouglasGregory.com is where you can keep up with me, my whereabouts, my well-being, all things Vince, and everything in between too. There's a YouTube, VDG Sports. Like, subscribe, share, do whatever it is you do there. Comment if you must, comment if you may. You can. But do you. Thank you. And you definitely know what time it is, and you still not getting it. So I'm just going to give you the out and then the peace.